Well, if there's injuries, I can't watch that. I want to see the DC slate, though.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm
Hey,
the
James.
co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And
I'll tell you one thing, you don't need to do that. In fact, I'd say the only good thing about DC is that you had so many disconnected things, and some of them were good, some of them were bad. Let's say you do this DC where everything's connected and it happens to be shit, well, all of it's shit. Kind of a gamble. Kind of a big, big gamble. Thanks for your sub, Kate, Skip, and the gift sub to Shiro, and the Prime Nicholas.
if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe.
I'll say it again. I'm not surprised the movie's coming out with how much they invested, but with Ezra Miller at the helm, I can't see that one going over well, James. I'll hit you with the cold water. There's not a whole ton of people super excited about Ezra Miller potentially staying the Flash, and they're definitely not excited about the movie having Ezra Miller still. But yeah, I'm guessing it's Flashpoint, which made it even harder to can. Thanks again to Parker and the Prime Maya. I'm not even big in comic books, and I know what Flashpoint is, so.
Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver,
What an interesting
who created Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story.
I can't even say it's like a bad idea because they haven't been able to make the DCU actually hit, and they've used fucking Superman, Wonder Woman, like they've brought out all their big guns. So maybe at this point it is best to go for like more of the side character, like less known ones. Maybe that is the play. But it is very interesting why they'd go that direction off rip.
That's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay.
Peacemaker
Next
was
up
good.
is the
I did
big
enjoy
one,
Peacemaker.
The true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
Oh, there you
This
go.
is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes.
That sounds like the most generic superhero thing ever. Why else do superheroes form the groups? To fix the world. This one's very different. They think the world is broken, so they want to fix it. Is the Authority cool? Like, are their comics cool? I don't know anything about them. I've never heard of them, ever. Authority is amazing. Okay, well that's good then. Authority is like the boys for DC. Okay. I can get behind that then if they're cool. Because I'll tell you right now, just by appearance, I'm not like super sold on it. It's all very generic standard heroes, except this guy. This is just normal man. I don't know what his powers are. He has the power of a full-grown man at his disposal, I guess, and nothing else. So just looking at this doesn't get me super hyped for what they do, but if you say the comics are good, I mean, I guess I can get behind that. And hopefully it's not bad.
Want to fix it by any
As
means
you said, Argent,
necessary.
Buggy, Parn, Ginny, and MaxiPad.
Superheroes. We're
And
doing a
Prime Kunai.
television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's
Bernie.
Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy.
Booster Gold was the butt of an entire joke on our podcast. Booster fucking Gold is getting his own show? I also like how he called him popular. One of the reasons he became such a joke is because we were looking up like unknown comic characters and Booster Gold was towards the top of that list and the name was so silly and everything about the character is pretty fucking silly. I don't know if he's like exploded in popularity recently, but I'll tell you right now, Booster Gold was not that popular a couple years back. Explain it. If I remember correctly, Booster Gold's power is he can time travel. So he's kind of a time traveling jock. And I can't remember, he had something else too. But I think his big one was being able to go back in time. So he comes from the future. Is it tech? Does he just have access to a lot of future tech? I thought he had another power. Thanks the Prime. God and resub bin. Oh, Jesus. And the 10k bits Robindale. This is Swag Kage. I've known made vids with Seth for 6 years. Yeah, I don't know the whole Seth situation. I wasn't going to watch it on stream. I was going to watch it in general, though, since it seems like it's a pretty foul situation. But yeah, I wasn't planning on watching it on stream. This sounds pretty serious. I'm sorry to hear that, if it is like a actually awful thing that's going on. Things are resub chaotic in the bits Hikari and Tori. In the Prime Data Party. These movies all sound AI generated. Well, this one's a TV show.
He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come
Oh,
back
he
to
even
present
explained it.
day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she
He's
is
tier
a
one
character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about. A
Let's
very
go.
dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right
Thanks, the
now.
Prime.
I've loved the DC characters since
Desecure.
I was a child. They're
Desecure.
incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
I gotta tell you, I don't know why you said it's horrible. I expected this to be just
everybody,
like
I'm-
generic DC schlock. Like, here's Superman, a movie coming out, and then the sequel where Superman's fighting two Supermans, but they're evil versions. I thought it was gonna be really uninteresting shit. I like I said, I do think that probably is the right play, choosing characters and stories that no one gives a fuck about, like on the mainstream level. That's probably a good call. Like having a whole fucking Swamp Thing movie, that's pretty cool. I don't know why you said it's horrible. I'm very curious, actually. He's a tier 1 Blaze in the resub. Sophie, Webb, and Frenzied. But it is formulaic? Oh, it could absolutely just be very formulaic. But if they wanted, like, what I thought would be the easy path, they would have just gone, right, we're doing new Batman, new Superman, new Wonder Woman, new Aquaman, like, we're just rebooting all of the big staples, new Justice League, and just, like, do the exact same path, but try and make it better. Which is what I would have expected. But they're like, hey, we're doing a fucking Swamp Thing movie and a Booster Gold standalone TV show. Something with the Authority. Whatever the fuck that is. Like, little niche shit. A whole Amanda Waller spinoff. These things. The Creature Commandos. It could still be trash. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's at least an interesting approach. Thanks to resub Dragon, Dongle, and Boner Man. The bits Parsvol and the resub Bardo. Remember when they did Booster Gold and Arrowverse? Of course I don't remember that. I didn't fucking watch CW. People say Arrow was good, but I watched that fight with Ra's al Ghul. That was terrible. People hype that fight up. I don't know if we have like a lot of Arrow fans here, but that final fight I thought was awful. And then he like kicks him off a cliff after stabbing him, and he's still like just fine. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm fine, I'm back. And they kept using the same goddamn stock sound effects for swords clanking. Oh, it was driving me mad.